Yo, it's your boy Logos. And today I want to read and dissect this article that I saw saying there's a surprising link between fitness and racism. I read the first paragraph and it sounded like nonsense for the first few paragraphs. And after that, I figured it'd just be a good idea to just read it and record it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be some more BS, especially after a couple of my friends read it themselves. So let's get into it. I'm going to read it paragraph by paragraph and just stop and dissect it as I see fit. Many of us are just starting to uncover the devastating effects of racism and colonialism on society. Police violence is raging, and recent events have laid bare the fact that these experiences affect our daily lives in a myriad of ways. Whether it's by dictating the way we should act, dress, or speak, racism often leaves our bodies traumatized, but but racism also has insidious consequences on another aspect of our lives that you may not have thought of: fitness. Or, I'm sorry, exercise. In my opinion, the greatest trauma that your body could go through is physical trauma. Getting beaten, lynched, or hanged, or anything like that is much more, I don't know, much more impactful, in my opinion, than the stuff that most people go through today. I think most people nowadays try to put themselves in the shoes of their ancestors, or sometimes not even their ancestors, and like they're going through the same trauma, but you're not. What you're really doing is squandering a great opportunity to live in a society that is much more modern, much more advanced, and much more tolerant than has ever been in human history. And that's just not the United States, that's the whole world. There was never peace and love and flowers and kumbaya before Europeans came over to Africa, Asia, or the Americas. That's just not the case. There was always warfare, tribalism, and hatred amongst people because it's a human thing, not a fucking white people, black people, any people type of thing. Just humans. That's the only people that does this type of shit. Stop making it about race all the time. While moving our body is essential to our health, the definition of quote unquote fitness has changed significantly over time. Only if you talking bullshit. Like how you saw, I don't know if y'all heard about that girl, that black lady or black woman who was like on like fitness magazines because she can do yoga, but she's like clearly obese, overweight. She can't do a lap, she can't do a push up, she can't do none of this, she can't do nothing at all, but she could put a leg behind her head. So she's fit. Okay. Nowadays, when talking about fitness, we're most likely thinking about how it relates to our physical appearance rather than our overall health. And now it's both is one and the same. I think there's a saying, like a Asian saying, like your outside appearance reflects your inner health. Because it's true, like if you're heavy, overweight, obese, you're gonna feel bad on the inside. You're more likely to have health issues. You can't deny that. We're not just talking about high blood pressure. We're not just talking about diabetes. We're talking about other things. Obesity raises the rates of other diseases that people don't think about. It does have an effect on your life. That's why this whole fat phobia thing is just nonsense. Funny at the bottom, I saw like fat phobia tags for these articles. They must have more bullshit like this. Maybe I'll find it later. Society has fallen into a trap of equating fitness with thinness. And not really, because there are plenty of people who are fit that are not skinny, nor are they jacked and filled with muscle. I'm saying the same thing for guys. Like you can be a fit like an endurance runner. You're not like jacked. You're not huge. Nor are you like super thin. Sometimes you are. Sometimes you're not. Either way, you can be healthy and fit and not have like a ridiculous body. It's just not true. And more recently, with muscle mass, curves, and even small waist with a large derriere, large ass, many have already explored this issue far better than I ever could. Christy Harrison, her podcast Food Psyche, and Caroline Dooner, and actor and social justice activist Matt McGorry are just a few of the incredible people who work tirelessly to shed light on the fat phobia, oh my god, racism and diet culture that all underpin mainstream fitness culture. Listen, just because there's an issue with the whole thing of like get on this diet and it'll change your whole life, or take these pills and you'll lose a whole bunch of weight without doing a whole bunch of work, doesn't mean the answer is fat phobia and more nonsense. Just because we are at one end of the spectrum doesn't mean we have to swing it all the way to the other end of chaos. Can we just slowly, or just, consistently drift towards the middle of, reason, logic, order? We don't have to just swing back and forth. That's how we get ridiculous governments. That's how we get ridiculous like groups or institutions, and it just weakens all of us. There's no reason we should be there's no reason why we should be under all this stress all the time, picking one side or this side. And if you don't pick this side, you're this or that. And if you stand by this side, you're this, that, and the other, depending on somebody else's perspective. It just doesn't make sense. All this division, it just causing more chaos. But this is nonsense. Especially this. Shed light on the fat phobia, racism, diet culture. Okay, whatever. The fitness world has always favored one body type over another. That is a slim. Oh my god, the slim white body. Okay, so Ronnie Coleman doesn't exist. All these other black or non-white bodybuilders, I can't, weightlifters, like all these different guys, they just don't exist, right? I can name a few off of YouTube off the top of my head, but there's like Ronnie Coleman, there's other ones too that are black who are, famous in fitness. Batista, he's like Greek and, I think Thai? I don't know. I read his book like when I was in middle school and a few times when I was older, so I can't remember exactly. But he was a bodybuilder too. There are a whole bunch of people that are not white or slim that are part of the fitness world. That really doesn't make any sense because you have multiple parts of fitness. You have endurance runners, marathon runners. You have people that like to do obstacle courses. You have the people that like to do then what's that type of like exercise where you like do weights, but you also do like a lot of movements with it? And it had like a big craze back in like 2016 up until like maybe like a few years ago now, but still a lot of people do it. It's on top of my head, but I can't think of it. But my whole point is there are a lot of different aspects of fitness, and there's a lot of different ways you can test your body and push it to different limits. And it's definitely not always about being slim. A lot of stuff, especially for guys, is about putting on muscle or looking toned or looking fit and looking strong at the same time. Not everybody want to be a meathead, but some people do want to be a meathead, want to look big as fuck and look as big as they can be. Some people want to look nice with good muscles, but also be athletic and have good cardio. Some people like to work out and just have sports. Be the way of them getting in the exercise every day or every weekend or so. This whole look, what they're doing is they're trying to box in fitness so far. They're trying to box in fitness to further their narrative of it being racist and fat phobic. But that's just not the case. All you need to do is just have a little thought and memory, and you would know the whole slim thing and the right body stuff is nonsense. But let's keep going. The fitness world has always favored one body type over the other, that is the slim right body, and people whose body do not match this norm are constantly left out of dominant representations. So okay, so I get it. So they're saying is the fitness industry or whatever favor white people who are slim, and if you're not that, they just left you out. Okay, don't believe me? Notice how a quick Google, oh my, really? A quick Google search uses the terms yoga, fitness results, and countless pictures of thin white women. Yeah, you have to scroll for minutes on end before coming across. Who gives a shit? Who gives a, like? Oh my god, come on, man. A single woman of color. Okay, so what do you want? What do you want me to do? Write a letter to the people of Google and say you better add black woman in, or else I'm not going to use your engine anymore? It's crazy. You want me to give more of a shit about this than you want to give a shit about the fact that Google is, I don't know what's the word, mess with the algorithm or change the algorithm in such a way that you can't get articles to certain topics that they deem average everyday citizens like you and me shouldn't have access to, like COVID-19 type stuff, or Ukraine type stuff, or government type stuff. Any stuff that attacks their hold on power, we can't get access to that easily through Google. And they want us to get mad about the fact that I can't see a black woman under yoga if I Google that. And they just pick this one search engine, not Bing, not DuckDuckGo or DuckDuckGo or Brave or none of these other platforms that you can use as much more, I don't know, free or liberal compared to Google. Funny, I said more liberal compared to Google, and though Google supposed to be liberal. Funny, but you see what I mean. Plus, this one quick Google search is not enough evidence or any evidence of anything at all to prove your case to me. It's just not it. Nor that I care. This trend dates. Oh my goodness, this trend dates back to colonization. As early as the 19th century, French colonizers were already entertaining the stereotype of Africans and black people being gluttonous, fat, and therefore incapable of showing restraint around food. Huh? 19th century. Okay, so that means the 1800s. French colonizers. Okay, so reason why this doesn't make sense to me is they could only think this if they just if the people they ran into in Africa, not just the slaves, but also the kings, the queens, the free people, all the free people in Africa that they traded slaves with, those people was fat as hell too. And they just was gluttonous and they couldn't control themselves. Plus, always entertaining stereotype of black being gluttonous. Plus, what does something from 200 years ago supposed to relate to fitness now? You being obese is being obese. I don't care if you pulled a slave master from the 1800s back in the 2023 and pointed at her and said, "Does this person look overweight to you?" And they said yes. That just because they're racist and a piece of shit doesn't mean a person isn't overweight if they're overweight. That doesn't mean the person isn't racist, but that person is still overweight because that's the way it is. That's what they chose to be. They made choices not to care about their health, or they made choices to put their health on the back burner. You, it's just a choice they made. We need to stop making excuses or coming up with labels for people who decide to pick a lifestyle they didn't have to choose in the first place. Throughout history, colonialism has also served the ideal of the sexy. But okay, this is so contradictory now. Colonialism has also served the idea of the sexy, voluptuous African woman on a silver platter in stark contrast with the thin, fragile white woman. Okay, so I don't understand because up here you just said the fitness world has always favored this. But at the same time, they use black women as a contrast right here? Like, what the fuck? To thin, fragile white women. So at the same time, they prefer white women that are thin, but at the same time, they prefer African women that aren't. Plus, not this is a thing too. Not every black woman is voluptuous. Stop. Hey, this is a thing too. These people are funny as hell. They talk about stereotypes and not boxing people in and saying people had to deal with this racism or that racism. Here's the thing, not every woman is voluptuous just because you have a certain skin tone. There are a lot of flat back, flat ass black women just like white women. Of course, the proportions between black women having a curvy body compared to white women is there, but not every single African woman or black woman is like this. That's just not the case. As Sabrina Shrines explains in her book Fearing the Black Body, oh my god. Fat phobia is inherently oh my goodness. Oh. Fat phobia is inherently rooted in racism and classism. Listen, here's the thing. The one argument you could make is that wait, but that doesn't make sense though, because back in ancient times or even more up to recently, maybe even less so in the modern day, but still, yeah, still in some countries, if you're overweight, that's a sign of wealth and status because you can afford food. That's okay, whatever. People who fail to live up to society's standards of beauty are often labeled as lazy and immoral, and these stereotypes hurt women of color and black people. No, it don't. I'm not hurt at all by the fact that a lazy is a label. Not you're not just because you're black doesn't mean you're lazy. But if you're lazy, you're lazy. Once again, like fat or like obese or like overweight. If you're it, you're it. That doesn't mean people should bully you or talk shit to you or behind your back or anything like that. But it is what it is. You are what you are. If you don't like what you are, change it. Being fat, being obese is something that you can definitely change. Your skin color, your gender, you cannot. Being obese, you fucking can. Most people don't have a freaking gland issue or and I can't remember what the throat issue that they have, like the glands that some people say is the reason why they obese. But either way, most people don't have that issue. That's a small percentage of people. And the BMI is not racist. I remember hearing that nonsense from watching Kevin Samuels like over a year ago now. And there was some black woman on there, multiple, like at least like three or four, talking about the BMI is racist and doesn't count for black women. Please stop. Please stop. There's a reason why African American, oh, I had said, Black Americans have higher blood pressure compared to other races. That's not racism. It's because our diet has a lot of salt in it and fried food. We all know this. We all go to the same type of Thanksgiving, 4th of July barbecues. Stop playing with your lives and your health. Come on. In recent years, the rise of Instagram, while it could have been a promising development in promoting acceptance of all body types, hasn't helped. Across many social media platforms and in pop culture, thinness has gradually given way to another ideal, thickness, a term coded with notions of race and sexuality. Okay, here's the thing. Just because you're heavy doesn't mean you're thick. Just because, look, listen, thick is for when you have a curvy, nice ass, and oftentimes too, nice like titties too. You don't even have to have that, but most of the time that's the way it is. But bare minimum, you gotta have like a nice ass. Just because you being overweight doesn't mean you're thick. That's bullshit that thick girls say to make themselves feel better. You're not thick, you're fat. Accept it, deal with it, change it, but you're not thick. Stop. And here's the thing too. I don't understand why sometimes it seems like women want to dictate to men what guys deem women as if you're us, as if you're attracted to women, as if you're, I don't know, well, this is what it should be, or this is how women. I don't give a shit. You're not us. I'm not gonna change the way I see women because you want me to, or you try to change up the term or the lingo for it. You can do that nonsense and make yourself feel better, but I ain't going with the nonsense. With the emergence of this new trend, features that are often mistakenly associated with certain women of color are now highly sought after. Many white folks, funny, never mind. Many white folks are increasingly trying to emulate the very features women of color and black women were historically shamed for, such as wide hips, thick thighs, and large butts. It seems that non-white and fat bodies can only exist in hypersexualized and racialized world, if at all. Oh God. Okay, so I'll get for this little point. There definitely is like paintings or photos or pictures of black women or just black people in general being cartoonishly drawn, or what's the word? I can't think of it right now. But like just overinflating features, and it is clearly racist. Like, black noses or lips or butts and stuff like that. So that stuff is true. But this whole idea now that this whole BBL craze that black women also are getting a part of, getting bigger butts when they're flat as hell, getting thicker thighs and all this other stuff through surgery, is somehow tied back to racism. And no matter what you do, whether or not you shame it or you don't shame it and you want to mimic it, you're still being racist or you're still being bad. In my opinion, it sounds like a lose-lose, because either you're racist and piece of shit, or you're, I don't know, taking advantage of something, or you're, I don't know, what's the word they try to use when, oh crap, something with the culture, something when you're like copycatting somebody, or you're like stealing it or something like that. But either way, it just seemed like to be no win at all. Fat phobia is inherently rooted in racism, classism, and classism. People who fail to live up to society's standards of beauty are often labeled as lazy and immoral. And these stereotypes hurt women of color and black. Oh, just saying the bullshit I just read. My fault. My fault. Workout apparel brands aren't doing much to address representation gaps in mainstream fitness culture either. It's 2020, and brands like Gymshark still feature very few oh my god, fat, disabled, and non-white brand ambassadors. And that's not even mentioning Lululemon, whose founder went as far as claiming that frankly someone's body just don't work with his yoga. Because it don't fucking work. If you're morbidly obese, you're 300 something pounds, 400 something pounds. Jesus, I don't even want to go higher. You shouldn't be wearing yoga pants. You look like a fucking busted open biscuit can. You oh my god. Stop. 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 Whatever happened to class? Whatever happened to modesty? Not everything got to be hanging out, flowing out. And this person, this this female, this lady, in this article, had the nerve to say that they feature very few fat, disabled, and non-white brand ambassadors. I'm just gonna talk about the very few fat thing, as if the very few fat thing is some type of negative mark against them. Here's the thing. When I walk into a place that I'm going to buy gym clothes at, I don't want to see a person who is overweight on the posters. I want to see a person who looks like the place I'm trying to get to. Why the fuck am I buying workout clothes if I'm trying to stay fat? Why the fuck? Why? Why? Come on, man. Why? Why would I want to see something that's gonna inspire me. I don't want to see something that reminds me of the place I'm at now. I want to be reminded of the place I'm getting to. This is insane. Stop trying to normalize being obese and overweight. We already have a problem with health in this country. Oh man. Disabled and non-white brand ambassadors. Okay, so I actually have no problem with like if of course if companies want to have disabled um I can't think of like models, disabled models, that's perfectly fine because disabled people can do plenty of exercises using the parts of their body to have access with. Even I'm just gonna make it easy for myself and say if you can't use your legs because you're in the wheelchair and something happened to you, you can still work out your arms, you can still get a good core, you can still strengthen other parts of your body. And there are plenty of videos of guys doing that and women, and that shit is inspiring. If they can get off their ass and do that shit, why the fuck I can't? And of course, once again, non-white brand ambassadors. Of course, I want I want as many different people to get their money in their checks as possible. And I think it only makes sense for, I guess, companies to have just more people besides white people be brand ambassadors simply because of the fact that you want to get more money from everybody. So yeah, so I can't really argue against that. I don't know how I could or anybody really could. The only difference is when you're trying to do stuff in like media, like movies and stuff, and you're trying to race swap or gender swap or stuff like that. But that's I'm not gonna get into that shit right now. This kind of statement, oh, let me go back so this makes sense. And that's not even mentioning Lululemon, whose founder went as far as claiming that, frankly, some women's bodies just don't work with these yoga pants. He's right. This kind of statement does nothing but contribute to shaming and erasure of certain bodies from mainstream. Bro, bro, it's hard to tell me if I'm wrong, but the whole point of trying to get fit or getting into fitness is to get healthy and lose weight, to get to a better body. Like, it's not shaming to say that you can't fit into these yoga pants yet because you're so big. That's not shaming. That's just logical. And I would say the next step you should take mentally is to say, you're right. I need to get myself together. I need to hit the gym and cut back on my eating habits so I can get my life together and experience the confidence I can get from having a better looking body and a healthier body overall. You don't even have to do it for other people. You can just do it for the sake that you're gonna make yourself more likely to live longer because you're healthier. Plus, not to mention your mental health definitely improves when you work out and you lose weight. Sure, I should go work out after I do this. Read this bullshit article. Still, I use the mainstream because I believe it is possible to define fitness in a way that's both inclusive and intersectional. Bro, oh my goodness, just do the workouts. Oh, what the fuck? Just do the workouts. Why are we making this such a bit? We gotta worry about every group and minority and this, that, and the other. Like, yo, if you're a human being, do these exercises that interest you and will improve your health. That's it. I don't give a shit anything else because I'm not gonna be there next to you as you do this stuff anyway. Intersectionality, inclusive. Bro, pick up the goddamn weight. Pick it up. Fitness isn't fitness isn't inherently evil, nor is working out. No shit. It's an activity. It is not rounding up Jews or minorities and putting them in a camp. It is literally improving your health and your body in multiple ways. In fact, having overcome a 10-year battle with the eating disorder, I deeply enjoy leading an active lifestyle. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm happy to hear that you overcame your disorder and you live active. I'll clap it up for you. You deserve that. Good for you. Even though you wrote this bullshit. The problem arises when we fail to define fitness as something that isn't just about our bodies, but our minds too. Wait, hold on. I gotta make sure I read that right. The problem arises when we fail to define fitness as something that isn't just about our bodies, but our minds too. Everybody knows that working out and being fit is good for your mental health. Runner's high. How many times? It's a stereotype or like a joke about people looking in the mirror after they work out or after they lose weight because it makes them feel better because they did all this hard work and they're admiring the progress. I don't see any truth in what she's saying, honestly. Unless I'm losing my mind. Please let me know if I'm losing my mind. Oftentimes I see so much nonsense nowadays, I feel like I am, and I'm living in Twilight Zone. So if I am losing my mind and I'm reading this wrong, please let me know in the comments below. Because of its excessive focus on the physical body is a symbol of attractiveness and good health. Mainstream fitness culture dismisses that health goes way beyond what the eye can see. Caring for our mental and spiritual health is just as if care for your mental and spiritual health on your own time. Your spiritual health can be cared for at your church. It can be cared for at I don't know, whatever you believe in, that could be handled there. Your mental health, I always talked about how working out just release endorphins or pheromones that make you feel better. Runner's high, looking at your body after your progress, etc., etc. So once again, what am I reading here? Caring for our mental and spiritual health is just as important, if not more, to our well being. Healing the trauma many of us carry because of, oh my goodness, healing the trauma many of us carry because of systematic racism. This bitch is right. Colonialism and restrictive dieting should be a part of what we define as fitness and wellness. Shifting the focus from the physical to the mental is essential in making this change. What does this have to do with working out? I don't go to the gym, lift weights, and think of holy shit, my ancestors were probably getting beat in that hot sun out there. Like, like I don't lift weights and wonder, damn, is this the equivalent of picking cotton for 12 hours straight? I don't. What sad sack of shit? Just think about racism and systematic racism and colonialism and all this nonsense all the time. Live your life. Enjoy the fact that you don't experience the nonsense and evil that our ancestors all across the globe had to go through. No matter if you're black, white, Spanish, or Japanese, or whatever the hell you are, your ancestors somewhere, somehow along your family tree experienced some type of slavery, oppression, and bullshit. Probably warfare too on top of all that. Be happy you're not doing it now, and you're probably sitting in some AC, probably hitting a blunt of 420, listening to my dumbass read this punk ass article to you. Oh man, I can't deal. I can't deal. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Okay, I see it. This is where yoga. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Let me just go back a little. Healing the trauma many of us carry because of systemic racism, colonialism, and restrictive dieting should be a part of what we define as fitness and wellness. Nigga, I'm black. I don't go through no fucking trauma because of systemic racism or colonialism. I live my life. And shifting the focus from the physical to the mental is essential in making this change happen. This is where yoga comes in. And as a spiritual Southeast Asian tradition, yoga relies on the complete synergy between mind, body, and soul, and encourages us to move away from the material realm. And yet, paradoxically, it is slowly becoming another westernized fad. Not only has it been fitness size, fitness size, what the fuck? What? She just made up a new word to what? Further her nonsense? God, come on, Sarah. Damn you, Sarah. All the way from North Africa. She loved telling us she must be from Egypt. I don't know. She said North African, but you know, I'm not finna go on that. I'm not finna focus on it. I'm just focused on nonsense. Not only has it been fitnessized with the rise of more intense forms, such as hot yoga with little to no emphasis on meditation, bro. It is using yoga for multiple different purposes. Why is it some of the same people that say this lifestyle that they preach now is restrictive? It isn't, I don't know, what's the word? Um, Diverse or inclusive enough. That's the word, inclusive enough. At the same time, like to target other things and be exclusive to that, like hot yoga. Nothing about hot yoga is hurting you because you're obese. If you want to do hot yoga, lose weight and get to a point where you can do hot yoga safely and you can enjoy it because it has many benefits. You're so fucking defensive over exercise that has no harmful effects towards you or anybody who does it safely, that you're gonna ignore the good benefits. Okay, okay. But it has also been culturally appropriated, oh my goodness, and commodified by white folks without any respect or sensitivity for the practice itself. If you want people to just stay to strict guidelines of how they use certain exercises or foods or musics or aspects of different cultures, then I would just say keep your cultures or your aspects to yourself then, because you can't dictate somebody else's life and how they decide to use a certain thing unless it's harming themselves or themselves or somebody else really. Because besides that, who cares? Do the exercise how you want to do the exercise. Talking about culturally appropriating and commodifying it. But I'm black as shit. I'm hitting up hot yoga any chance I get because hot yoga is good as fuck and it sounds fun as hell. Shoot, yoga in of itself is a good exercise and a good way to stay healthy, but it's a good aspect of staying healthy. You can't just do yoga and not give a shit about everything else regarding fitness and your health. That's what I'm trying to say. But if you do give a shit about all the other aspects of fitness, yoga is a good way to stay loose and to maintain that good flexibility long term, which will go well with your the weightlifting and cardio. It's about getting a total package, not just picking something that's easy for you and makes you feel a certain type of way. As Joshua Virasamy says, okay, or puts it, yoga is not a pick and mix. You cannot take the fitness aspect, asana, and ignore the aspect jini, on the fuck, self knowledge or bhakti, doing selfless service for others. We cannot afford to pay no heed to how our daily consumerism and lack of resistance towards consumerism propels the impoverishment of brown bodies in the East. What? Don't be afraid to bat for the poor in the face of privilege. What the fuck are you talking about, yo? Yoga is not a pick and miss. I could do whatever the hell I want. What, you gonna come over here and beat me because I don't work out the way you want me to? You cannot take the fitness aspect, asana, and ignore the aspect of jani, self-knowledge, or bhakti, doing selfless service for others. Listen, man, I could do selfless service for others and still do hot yoga. Who gives a shit? We cannot afford to pay no heed to how our daily consumerism and lack of resistance towards consumerism propels the impoverishment of brown bodies in the East. Okay. Well, one thing I would say, it's not my fault as an American that somebody is impoverished in another country. I'm not over here setting the economic policy for people in the Middle East or Western Asia or Eastern Asia or any other aspect or part of this big old planet with over 8 billion people on it. I'm not gonna take no freaking culpability. I'm not finna feel bad because once again, I didn't do shit. And don't be afraid to bat for the poor in the face of privilege, spirituality. So what are you trying to say? Yell at people and get angry at people because they decide to do yoga in a type of way that isn't how the poor or brown people did it in another part of the world? Like these people are straight up ridiculous, yo. I don't these people really exist and they really think we're gonna give a shit enough to just stop what we're doing, these good exercise because they feel some type of way. Go to hell. The problem also arises when access to fitness space become limited by discriminatory factors such as race, size, ability, and so forth. Okay, this is some BS straight up because my black ass has gone to every type of gym that I felt like. I've gone to college gyms all across the country or all across the state I live in or in different states that I have visited. I have gone to just, private or, public gyms and had no issue. I've gone to know where I'm fit and obese, overweight too, and had no issue. I could say from my perspective and my other people in my circle perspective, when we see an obese person at the gym, we're not laughing at them or we're saying why they're here. We're actually happy they are there because they're actually putting in effort and time to improve their health and improve their body. They're not just accepting it. That's something that should be applauded. So I don't understand how this person could possibly say they have to deal with discriminatory factors such as race, size, and ability. Your ability gets better as you practice and keep doing it over and over and over again. Me myself, personally, I couldn't do a push-up for majority of my life because I was overweight and obese. I had to start off with push-ups on my knees, and then I did regular push-ups. Just because you're not able to do something now doesn't mean you can't do it later. So once again, that is nonsense. And so forth. I'm just gonna assume that so forth is gonna be more bullshit and nonsense because that's all I've been reading so far. Especially in the sentence, but this whole article has just been mostly nonsense and bullshit. By defining thin white women as the faces of fitness, mainstream fitness culture erects barriers. Bro, yo, listen. I'm going to the gym because I need to work out. I couldn't give a damn if she was black, brown, yellow, or polka dot. Nor could I care if it was a man or a woman. Nor could I care if that man or woman was in a wheelchair. I'm getting these gym clothes because I need gym clothes to go to the gym. After that, I leave and I won't see your face ever again. Whether or not the color or the size, for the most part, of your ambassador is not going to affect whether or not I choose your gym or not. Your product and the pricing and the value is what's going to dictate that. All this fucking diversity bullshit they're talking about, I don't care. I don't care. That's not going to save me money. Save me money, make my money valuable, and your product's valuable, and I'm buying them, and you got a loyal customer to the day you screw me over. It's that simple. I don't give a shit about this nonsense. Look at Bud Light and learn something, man. I don't give a shit about all this diversity or all this SJW stuff they're preaching. Just make a good product and sell at a fair price, and I'ma buy it. Gosh. It denies other women whose non-white, fat, and disabled bodies not here to the norm safe access to space like gym, yoga studios. But if you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. I literally see disabled guys at the gym before, multiple times at multiple different gyms at multiple ages of my life. Same with fat people. Shit. Before a lot of people lose weight and have fitness journeys, and we all know that. How do they do it? 95% do it by going to the gym. Some people may do it by working out outside and doing calisthenics like I did, but most people don't do that. Most people go to the gym. There's nothing wrong with that. So once again, BS and non-white. My black ass been to the gym. Ram, his black ass been to the gym. He goes to the gym all the time. Our other homeboy, his black punk ass, annoying ass, he go to the gym with him. My other homeboy, Spanish, he goes to the gym. Stop it. Stop it. As long as people at the margins of society, I'm not in the margins, so I'm not at the margins. Do not feel comfortable within them. We'll have work to do. The only work I need to do is go to the gym and lift some more weights. And make sure I don't ever read none of your BS again unless I'm doing it for the YouTube channel. If we want to destroy these barriers and make fitness culture generally inclusive, I don't give a shit. As long as you don't stop me from going to that gym and try to harass me or stop me from doing the stuff that everybody else is doing, I don't care about anything else. I pay my money to work out. I don't pay money to fucking hold a sign outside the gym and say let black people in. They're already let in. They've been let in. We need people in positions of privilege who to acknowledge how the status quo benefits them in the change. You're literally going to the gym. Decolonizing fitness culture and reclaiming the right to be a part of it can't happen overnight. Wait, decolonizing fitness? I swear to Christ, I hate these people, yo. I don't hate them. I just it's so ridiculous and disingenuous. It just oh man, it's just hard to think. This is a real flesh and blood human being right now. Decolonizing fitness culture. I guess white people ran up and stuck their flag on fitness culture, even though fitness culture is not like a tangible place you could colonize or put a flag on. But okay, and reclaiming the right to be a part of it can't happen overnight. What? Decolonizing fitness culture and reclaiming the right to be a part of it. We're already part of it. What are you talking about? Can't happen overnight. More nonsense. We're almost done. Dang. It will require everyone, including thinner, non-disabled, and lighter skinned individuals. What? Oh, I see. Including thinner, non-disabled, and lighter skinned individuals to work together and address some complex issues dating back to hundreds of years. So there was gyms being discriminatory back in the 1800s. This is nonsense. Just because you pull out the thing with racism and the exaggeration of black people's bodies doesn't correlate to gym and 2023. Black people go to the gym all the time, just like every other minority does, just like everybody else does. This is nonsense. But I'm so glad I read this on the YouTube channel instead of just reading this by myself because man, oh man, I would have not been had a good. I would have not have had a good reaction like this otherwise because this is insane. And you want to know what's even more insane? I managed to turn a 5 minute bullshit article read, which really could be done in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, into what 45 minutes. Ain't that some shit? This some Asmongold type level stuff right here. It runs deeper than you think. Yes, your nonsense definitely does, Sarah. It runs much deeper than I could have possibly fathomed. I read the first like paragraph or two and knew it was crazy, but I could have never imagined she would have said something like decolonizing fitness culture. Even though my black ass go to the gym. Even though my black ass friends, Spanish friends, everybody go to the gym with no issue. We gotta decolonize it. There's no strategy of how to decolonize besides certain people in positions of privilege gotta acknowledge their privilege and change it. They don't say what to change it. That's another thing too. They don't say what you should actually do. They just say it has to be changed and these people are the enemy and they need to do it. They don't say how. They don't give no plan, no blueprint, nothing like that. They just say this is what it is. These people are the enemy and they need to stop what they're doing or we need to stop. Like, come on, man. These people care nothing about reality or logic. They just want power and they just want to attack people. If you're fucking fat, accept it or do something about it. But doing all this nonsense does nothing for you or anybody else. and I will not support it. I will not accept you, and now nor will I accept this nonsense from Sarah L. Gariba. I'm sorry. This is just ridiculous. What's this? What is this? Some more nonsense? Why women aren't having kids is one question to ask. This sounds like BS too. Well, I don't know. I gotta read it to actually see. It's just a title, and just like this nonsense title for this article, I'm pretty sure it could be nonsense too. Who knows? This medium people always got some BS. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Actually, had some fun turning this 5 minute read into a damn near 50-minute video, almost 10 times the length. That must be a talent. Shoot, that should at least deserve a like. So if you like this shit and you want me to do more, let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Logos, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.